Hello, welcome back to our channel. This is the 13th episode, Moment of Truth of the story Shadow Slave. We're picking right back up in this incredibly dark, suffocating cave. The air in there is just thick, it's tense, and it is unnervingly quiet. Gregor and Sunny are completely trapped in this heavy silence, totally cut off from the rest of the world. You can almost feel the shadows pressing in on them. And honestly, it's in this incredibly claustrophobic atmosphere that our story really kicks into gear today. So Gregor lowers his head, right? Almost like he's cloaked in this deep shame, and he methodically confesses his darkest intention. He tells Sunny, speaking very softly, that he was actually planning to kill him in his sleep. And his justification for this? He claims he wanted to spare Sunny from suffering at the hands of the monster outside. He tries to frame it as this tragic necessity, a sin he just has to bear. He starts talking about how his life doesn't belong to him alone and this sworn duty he absolutely has to fulfill. It's this deeply hypocritical, self-righteous confession, but he delivers it in the absolute quietest, most heartbreaking tone. Now, this brilliantly illustrates the core conflict between these two. On one hand, you've got Gregor's motive. He desperately needs a noble excuse, right? He wants to wrap up his murderous intent in this cozy little blanket of a merciful kill. But Sunny literally laughs right in his face. He absolutely hates hypocrites. Sunny's motive is just raw, unyielding survival. When Gregor asks what makes Sunny want to live so badly, assuming it's for, a life worth remembering, Sunny's answer is just so dark and unapologetic. He flat out says he wants to survive simply to spite them all. It is an incredible clash of character philosophies. Okay, so Gregor accepts Sunny's dark answer. He gets to his feet, looking every bit the soldier ready to execute his duty. He looks down at Sunny and says, "Don't worry, I'll make it quick." The tension in that cave right now is absolutely suffocating. Sunny just scowls at him, throwing back a challenge, completely questioning Gregor's confidence. Gregor shakes his head, saying he really doubts Sunny can kill him. But then, the whole dynamic just breaks. Gregor staggers. All the color completely drains from his face, turning it this deathly, sickly pale. He falls hard onto one knee, and with this awful pained groan, he violently vomits blood. Suddenly, the executioner is the one dying. What is truly fascinating about this moment is Gregor's absolute bewilderment. He's bracing himself against the cave wall, just staring in sheer panic at his own blood-covered hands. He literally cannot comprehend what is happening to him. He looks at Sunny with these wide, terrified eyes and asks, "What magic is this? Did you put the curse of the Shadow God on us?" In his mind, Sunny simply must have used some divine, dark sorcery. Because, how else could this lowly slave have brought down a fully trained soldier? Well, let's dive into Sunny's response, because it is delightfully wicked. Sunny just sighs, and his tone drops to this incredibly cool, calculated level. He freely admits he doesn't have any divine magic whatsoever. Instead, he lays out exactly how he pulled it off. First, remember after the tyrant attacked? They sent Sunny to search for water? Second, he gathered up all the flasks from the fallen soldiers. And here is the kicker. He squeezed deadly bloodbane juice into every single flask, except his own, just enough of it to slowly kill anyone who drank it. He literally poisoned the entire squad right under their noses. Gregor is really struggling through the pain at this point, just trying to comprehend this revelation. He asks Sunny why he would do this way back then, when he didn't even know they would eventually turn on him. And Sunny delivers his answer with such cold, callous contempt. He explains that Benny would kill for a pair of boots, and Fraser was a wolf in sheep's clothing. Why would he ever believe they wouldn't sacrifice him the second they faced death? And as for Gregor, Sunny calls him the worst of them all. Every trace of humor totally vanishes from his voice as he stares Gregor down and says, "There is nothing more pathetic than a slave who begins to trust his slaver." Now, the absolutely crucial point here is how Gregor reacts to this brutal honesty. Hearing those words, Gregor actually lowers his head. But he doesn't despair. Instead, he laughs. This sinister, dark chuckle just echoes through the cave. His entire demeanor completely shifts from sickness to this twisted kind of amusement. He looks at Sunny and realizes the boy is a wicked little schemer. And to Gregor, this is fantastic news. Because Sunny is so ruthless, Gregor's conscience is completely cleared. He doesn't have to feel guilty about murdering a helpless kid anymore because the kid is a monster in his own right. But then comes the terrifying twist. Sunny tells him to just die already, but Gregor suddenly pierces him with this intensely sharp stare. And suddenly, he doesn't look quite so sick anymore. He calmly explains that Sunny's plan would have worked perfectly on a normal human. But Gregor possesses an awakened soul core. He's slain countless enemies, absorbed their power, and evolved. Because of this awakened state, the bloodbane poison might be incredibly unpleasant, sure, but it can never ever actually kill him. Sunny's ultimate trump card has just completely failed. Sunny's eyes just go wide. The situation has instantly gone from bad to a complete nightmare. He spins around and tries to sprint away, but it's too late. Something slams brutally into his back, sending his entire body crashing hard into the rock wall. This sharp, piercing pain erupts in his left side. He screams, rolling out of the cave and clutching his chest, but he scrambles right back onto his feet, his breath ragged, and just runs as fast as he physically can, desperately trying to escape that narrow, suffocating crevice. He somehow manages to reach the old path, but the frantic chase comes to a creeping, awful halt. Sunny looks up and finally sees the stars. The pale moon is shining so brightly, casting this really cold light over the mountain. But that is as far as he can go. It's a dead end. And then, right from the shadows behind him, a voice even colder than the night air cuts through the silence. Stop. Sunny freezes instantly. He knows for a fact he has zero chance of fighting a soldier with an awakened soul core. So Sunny obediently turns around, keeping his hands held up in surrender. He watches as Gregor wipes the blood off his face with this deeply displeased look in his eyes. The two of them just stand there staring at each other, shivering in the absolute murderous cold of the night. Gregor decides it's time to keep his promise of a quick death. He unsheaths a sword, and the scrape of the metal just rings out in the freezing air. He looks at the boy and asks, "Do you have any last words?" It is literally the absolute peak of hopelessness. But Sunny doesn't answer with words. Instead, from seemingly nowhere, a small silver bell suddenly appears right in his hand. Gregor just frowns, totally confused, demanding to know where he was even hiding it. But Sunny just shakes the bell. A beautiful, incredibly clear ringing sound flows out over the dark mountain. It completely fills the freezing night with this enchanting, almost otherworldly melody. And the sheer beauty of that sound brings sudden, intense terror to Gregor. His voice rises in complete panic, screaming at Sunny, "What are you doing? Stop!" And dutifully, the young slave actually stops shaking it. Gregor's eyes dart frantically all around, trying to figure out what on earth that bell just summoned. But what happens next is even more impossible. Right under Gregor's bewildered eyes, the silver bell completely vanishes into thin air. Just gone. Gregor stares at Sunny, completely stumped and highly suspicious. His panic is mounting by the second now. He demands, "Tell me, what did you just do?" But Sunny remains entirely silent. In fact, he hasn't spoken a single word since they left the cave. And if you look closely, standing there in the pale moonlight, Sunny isn't even breathing. Gregor screams at him again, demanding answers, but Sunny completely refuses to be intimidated. You see, Sunny is a child of the shadow. He looks right past the panicking soldier, staring deep into the absolute darkness of the mountain, and slowly, this chilling, tiny smile grows on Sunny's face. Gregor is absolutely losing his mind with fear now, yelling, "What is it? What did you do?" And finally, Sunny just raises his eyebrows and whispers his response directly to the dark. "You'll find out soon." What exactly has this young slave summoned from the shadows to level the playing field? Well, we're going to have to wait to find out. If you liked the story, please like and share it and subscribe to the channel to watch future episodes. Thanks for watching.